Hey, I'm UNCjer, and this is my application video for the Complexity Academy.
The Banelings now down. And there they are stepping in. The Banelings just eat Archon. Not a very effective engagement. We see that mothership desperately trying to send the Broodlords to Disneyland.
I think this may be it. Light looks like he's moving to a very aggressive position after the scan. And here we go. Here's the engagement.
Question 1. Tell us about yourself. What race do you play? How much time do you dedicate to StarCraft? Are you a student? Let us know what your interests and goals are. Well, my name is Jared McLouchik. I'm 21 years old, and I'm a senior at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. I'm majoring in computer science with a minor in information systems. I play Protoss, and I've been playing StarCraft 2 for a little over a year and a half. My biggest interest and passion in life has always been gaming. In the past, I've been competitive in many different games spanning across all genres, but my favorite genre is definitely real-time strategy. I started playing Brood War in 5th grade, and I was introduced to Warcraft 3 in 8th grade, which is how I first realized how big the esports industry was in Europe and Asia. Grubby became my idol, and from there on out, my dream was to be a professional esports athlete. In November 2010, I started playing StarCraft 2. And ever since I started playing, I really started to love StarCraft 2. I really enjoy the way the mechanics feel, especially Chrono Boost and Warp Gate, and I feel like they open a lot of strategic options for the players. I also really like the huge impact of econ management in the gameplay of StarCraft 2. Esports is now my biggest passion in life. Last year I founded the UNC Chapel Hill Esports Club, and now we have over 200 members in our Facebook group. As far as playtime, I average about 4 hours a day during the school year, and during the summer I try to play 6 to 8 hours a day. However, I did have a major setback for most of June and all of July this summer. I had to work a 32-hour database management job, and it really cut back on my practice schedule a lot. So in August, I'm going to start back up playing 6 to 8 hours a day in order to practice for MLG Raleigh, which I'll be attending. Question 2. What have you achieved in StarCraft 2 so far? Tournament wins, etc. I've played in 5 live events so far. The first one I played in was MLG Raleigh in last August. In round 2, I took a game off of Inca, but in the end I fell short in that event, and I only made it to round 4 or 5. But then in February of 2012, I played in the Carolina Game Summit StarCraft 2 tournament, and that tournament mainly had players from Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, and South Carolina, and I ended up coming in first place in the event, and I only dropped a single game to a cheese in the grand finals. The most recent live event that I played in was the Collegiate Star League All-Stars Invitational Tournament. Last year during the CSL season, I went 17-3 in 1v1 matches with either a 14 or 15 game winning streak. Based on that performance and on my ladder ranking, I was nominated and then later invited to play against some of the best CSL players in the country in a 6-person double elimination tournament at Central Florida University. I flew out there to play in the tournament along with Complexity's QXC, Light's Kawaii Rice, Aria's Hello Kitty, Quantic's Spanishiwa, and It's Gosu's Ostaji. I ended up playing against Spanishiwa and Kawaii Rice. I feel like I grew the most from that event as a player because it was all professional level players, and it was also live on a stage casted by Day 9 in front of a live crowd, and it was streaming online. So that was like a pretty big deal for me. I've also played in 2 local live events at my school. I played in UNC's first and third StarCraft 2 LAN tournaments. In the first UNC LAN event, I met a Grandmaster Protoss named Rev APS, who's now known as Area Hanwell, in round 2 of the tournament, and I beat him 2 games to 1. And I went on to win the event. I only dropped 1 other game in the entire tournament. Then, in the third UNC LAN event, I met Area Hanwell in the grand finals, and I was coming up from the loser bracket. We had an extremely intense series, but I beat him in 2 matches in a row with a score of 2-1, and then again with a score of 2-1 to win the entire tournament. I haven't played in too many online events, but I have played in 2 UNC Weekly online tournaments, which is basically just people throughout North Carolina who want to play in an online tournament. And I took out players such as Rev APS again and El Paramedico, who are both Grandmaster Protoss players. Other than that, I've had some pretty big wins on the ladder over some major players. I've beaten In Control twice, I've beaten Hung on Prime once, Violet once, Inca twice, Pain User once, Complexity's Gosu User 3 times, Atero once, White Raw once, Todd, Fitzy here, and I'm sure there's others, but I can't remember them at the moment. Question 3. What do you think you would bring to the Academy that sets you apart from other players? Well, first of all, I really love playing a million games in a row. I'm obsessed with improving and with practicing so much that it's basically my favorite way to spend my free time. My favorite way to play StarCraft 2 is to devote like a large block of my day to it and just straight up play either practice games or ladder games for a long period of time. I really enjoy having a practice schedule, and I feel like that's a characteristic that you have to have in order to help yourself and your teammates improve. I'm also a super competitive person in just about everything I do in life, so that really propels me to accomplish more and more. On top of that, my play is very standard and solid. I'm a huge fan of long macro games, just trying to outplay my opponents, not trying to use gimmicks or trickery to beat them. And for this reason, I feel like I can be a really great practice partner because consistency is the biggest factor in my game. And the final thing that sets me apart from other players is the fact that I'm very serious about playing StarCraft 2 as my career after school, and I've already discussed this with my parents, close friends, and relatives. I'm going to be taking a year off after college to pursue my dream of being a professional esports athlete. So now the only thing holding me back is finding a team who can help me grow to be the best player I can possibly be. Question 4. Do you think you'd benefit from the Academy atmosphere? If so, why? I feel like the Academy atmosphere would be extremely helpful to me as a player. The biggest thing I have trouble with in StarCraft 2 is finding people who would be dedicated to practicing with the intent to improve. Practice partners who are of a high caliber and are willing to dedicate time to practice long hours with the intent to improve are really hard to find. When I do find high-level practice partners, they usually only want to play a few games and they don't have time to make a legitimate practice schedule. A practice schedule is something I've been trying to set up with other high-level players for a long time, and the Academy atmosphere is a great way to do that. It's also hard to find people who spend time discussing practice games with you. A lot of my past practice partners didn't really like discussing what we did wrong after the games. I know a lot of high-level players have trouble accepting criticism, but I'm the type of player that will readily accept any criticism, and I'll play way better with someone who wants to talk about what we can do specifically to improve our games. In general, the Academy atmosphere would provide me with high-level practice partners who are devoted to the game and focused on improvement. The competitive atmosphere within the Academy would also keep me striving to do better and better so that I can grow as a player and improve much more than I could on my own. Question 5. Do you stream your games? If so, please provide us with a link so we can see you in action. Unfortunately, right now, I'm in the mountains of western North Carolina, and the best internet available isn't good enough to stream. However, my school in Chapel Hill, North Carolina has some of the best internet in the world because it's a major research university. At school, I stream almost every day, so once school starts back up in late August, I should be streaming very often in 720p. My stream link, along with a few links to my VODs that I've uploaded to YouTube, are found in the video description below. And I'll also post a link to both my BNet profile of my main account and my CSL profile in the video description. Question 6. What would be your goals for the Academy if you were selected? Well, my primary goal is to keep improving my play and eventually play on the professional level. My dream is to make StarCraft into my career after college, and the only way for me to do that is if I keep playing and improving over time so I can provide awesome content in the form of playing in live events, streaming, coaching, and providing some kind of YouTube content so that people can really learn and be entertained by my games. Another one of my goals is to start playing in more big events like MLG and eventually play in some international events. Other than that, I guess my main goal in the Academy would be to try to be as helpful as I could be to the other members of the Academy when it comes to helping them improve their game in an efficient manner. I know how hard it can be to find consistent high-level practice partners, and I'm definitely one of the people who will schedule practice sessions, hammer out as many games as I need to, doing the same exact thing over and over, and providing consistency in my play that will make my practice with the other members of the Academy extremely useful to everyone involved. Question 7. Lastly, give us a short summary on why we should pick you. Honestly, the reason you should pick me for the Complexity Academy is that I have an extreme passion for StarCraft 2. My dream since I've been in middle school was to grow up and be a professional esports athlete, and the Academy will provide me with practice partners and the support to become the best StarCraft 2 player I can be, and to push me in the right direction to achieve my goals. So again, I'm Jared McClouchik, also known as UNCjer, and I'd love to join the Complexity Academy in order to pursue my dream in becoming a professional esports athlete. Thanks so much for listening to my video and for providing this opportunity to tell you guys about myself. And also, thanks so much for providing this opportunity to the StarCraft community in general. Even though I might not get chosen, I really appreciate the Complexity Academy and Complexity in general for helping out the esports industry so much. So thanks again to you guys, and hopefully I'll get a chance to play in the Complexity Academy.